is nestled in Southeast Asia, between the Pacific and Indian Oceans. Given its location, a visitor to Thailand might find herself on a white-sanded southern beach, a foggy mountaintop in the north, or in the middle, amongst Bangkok's 15 million citizens. Bangkok serves as Thailand's economic mecca. It also hosts a large variety of steaming street food, towering skyscrapers, and traffic. A lot of traffic. Nestled in Bangkok's bustling streets, in the trendy Sukhumvit district, lives a curious restaurant on 10 Sukhumvit, off of one of the longest roads in the city. It lives a mere 5 minutes from Nana, a large red light district, and similar institutions further surround it. This restaurant is Cabbages and Condoms, a project started by Machai Veeravidya in an effort to address problems with Thai reproductive health. The proceeds of this quirky eating establishment primarily feed into the Population and Community Development Association, or PDA, which Veeravidya launched in 1974. But more on this later. It's easy to be distracted from your meal at Cabbages and Condoms, as you find yourself surrounded by material encouraging safe sex practices. I wandered around with tofu in my mouth and a camera in my hands, learning about condom usage and Thai charities, chuckling at the safe sex gags littered around me. Although he requested not to be filmed, the manager released Cabbages and Condoms' mission statement, which stated that Machai Veeravidya recognized that unless radical steps were taken to contain Thailand's rapid population growth, 3.3% at the time and an average of 7 children per family, the country would not live up to its development potential. The name Cabbages and Condoms comes from Veeravidya's belief that for any family planning program to be successful, birth control should be as accepted and accessible as vegetables in the market. As I left, I was given a complimentary condom provided in place of the traditional post-meal mint trend. Condom sits next to the PDA that I mentioned earlier. This organization was Machai Veeravidya's driving force in his monumental condom distribution campaign of the early 90s. During the 1970s, Thai poverty and fertility rate promised to quickly increase in tandem at the time that the PDA was formed. The organization sought to increase quality of life, and in the early 90s, its founder put a condom distribution plan into motion to promote family planning. A 2004 survey suggests that women are largely responsible for birth control, whether it be condom usage, a pill, or sterilization. Women and families were certainly part of the target demographics of the 100% condom use campaign. And in just a decade, from 1993 to 2001, condom usage shot up to 80%. The inverse decrease in family size suggests the success of this campaign in encouraging condom usage. Professor Pad Thai Song from Chiang Mai University acknowledges the efficacy of Veeravidya's efforts in this trend.
And that helped to promote condom use and other occupations for the villagers in many provinces, in Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, in the northeast, I think in Khon Kaen, Chanipur, I'm not quite sure, and in Chonburi and in Bangkok. But I think the program in 1990s helped to promote condom use for the AIDS prevention. But before that, in the 1970s and 80s, that's for family planning.
This program was exceedingly well-timed, providing readily available protection at a time when HIV/AIDS hysteria was at its peak. New HIV/AIDS infections have dropped an impressive 80% since 1991 when the campaign was launched. These changes affected Thai daily life in a number of ways.
Also, yes, because we have a smaller family size, and most of the people in the country still live in rural areas, and nowadays they have to, if the parents are entering the aging group, they are most dependent on the children, and they have less children. And some of the children migrated from rural areas to work in the cities. So it's kind of changed, and also in the northern region in the past, when parents have many children, usually there will be daughters who take care of the elder parents. But now that does not exist.
I was shocked at the wide-ranging effects, both socially and economically, that followed easy access to simple latex contraceptives. This plan has a powerful simplicity about it, despite its origins from the largest NGO in Thailand. How did this program manage to be so successful? After the campaign was launched in 1991, 60 million condoms were distributed at no cost to the users. They were readily available in storefronts, taxis, public places, schools, and sex industry workers even received a free box of 100 condoms with every clinic visit. In addition, Vera Vidya sought to de-taboo safe-sex practices, setting up condom blowing contests at schools, as well as providing them with sexual education, providing free vasectomies at his restaurants, and sharing drinks with HIV-positive patients to perpetuate the notion that it cannot be transmitted through such daily contact. Further, a 2004 study noted that, in general, religious-based groups did not oppose Vera Vidya's contraceptive efforts, allowing his message to be spread really easily. However, some rural Muslim communities in the south of Thailand are still considered as high risk, as almost 95% of Thai citizens are Buddhist. Given his successes, Vera Vidya is currently known to many as Mr. Condom, although many adults I spoke with mentioned that he's less well known amongst the younger generation.
Who?
Mechai Vera Vidya. His wild success certainly tackled his initial goals, as the average number of children in a Thai family has decreased from 7 to 1.5 since the program began, a really drastic effect given the time elapsed. In a sense, he attacked this poverty problem from multiple angles. He affronted citizens with a wealth of educational information, helpful in shattering social paradigms, but also provided tools to put these practices into motion. Walking through the streets of Chiang Mai, Bangkok, and various areas of the Krabi province, I sought to find out for myself whether condoms still played a prevalent role in Thailand's sexual practices. Are condoms as easy to find in 2013? Despite Vera Vidya's non-profit sector success, some Thai citizens still seek more support from their government regarding this and similar public health efforts.
They more corruption. They take money for their own self, and their group self. They don't share. They don't support education.
Currently, the PDA's plans are still in motion with shifted concentrations. Its efforts are focused on rural and impoverished areas, especially through the Village Development Partnership. The Machai Patana School was also launched to ensure children a strong education, and the Bird and Bees Resort in Pattaya was also established with proceeds dedicated to environmental conservation. In 2007, the PDA received an award from the Gates Foundation along with $1 million to help towards its future goals, which are in motion as I speak.